Hey, it's TJ, your mortgage guy. I'm here today with John Seinar from Bikes Unlimited downtown. As most of you guys know, I'm an avid cyclist, and so I spend a lot of time hanging out with John and shopping at his bike shop. But one of the things I wanted to talk with him about today is during the COVID pandemic, his shop, is basically people aren't allowed to come in and shop. So I wanted to talk with him about ways that he's been able to still service his clients because the weather is getting nicer and people are wanting to get outside and people still need to ride bikes, and just talk to with him a little bit about how he's been able to keep his business up and running during these crazy times. So John, tell me a little bit about how you got into this business and what it's like running a bike shop.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for doing this. I think it's pretty cool. So I stepped foot into a bike shop when I've always been interested in bikes. Took my first Ninja Turtles bike apart when I was six years old. My dad made me put it back together, and then he basically helped me put it back together. And I just always loved bikes. So when I was 13, I stepped foot into a bike shop, and I begged them to give me a job, and they did. And I've worked at a bike shop. Basically, it's been one of the only super consistent things in my life that I've done. So I moved down here from Michigan in 2009, and I got a job at the shop here at Bikes Unlimited, and I worked on and off there for about 7 or 8 years, and then finally finalized purchase in December.
Wow, that's awesome.
Sure. Yeah. So quick
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah, that's right. So what are you doing to keep your business up and running, while we're quarantined and social distancing and things like that?
Yeah. So basically, we've just had to get creative and kind of streamline everything, which I think is one of the coolest things about what's going on right now. I think we're going to everybody's talking about what are we going to learn? What are we going to take away? How are we going to get better through this? So I think that it's cool that if you're on that side of the bridge of people, it's really, every day is kind of a fun adventure. So what we're basically doing is, and I'll give a shout out to my wife here, before anybody really knew what was going on, not that we still know what's going on, but before it was a thing to close your business, my wife was like, hey, you need to get out in front of this today. And I was like, nah, I'll take care of it in a little bit. She's like, no, seriously, you should say something about it. So literally that night I made a short little video about expressing concern for what was going on. We were didn't know it was up, but this is what we were doing. So I just made the decision, instead of closing my business, because we had two options, right? At the time, basically, it was either close up shop and hope for the best and drain what little money you have in the account and hopefully make it through, or figure out a creative solution. So I personally thrive in chaos. So this was a great, it was great for me, I think. So basically we have closed the inside of the store. Nobody's allowed inside except for our employees. We were fortunate enough, we're one of those businesses that through this has actually grown. Our sales are up a lot.
That's
so
amazing.
we've been really, really thankful. I think in part to, obviously people are getting outside and they're riding bikes like crazy, but getting ahead of it, I think there's a lot of bike shops on the East Coast that, not a lot, but there's a few that decided to close. And then 4 weeks later, they kind of opened up and they were playing catch up and trying to figure out what to do. Through this process, every day has been different. You make a small change every single day and you just adapt, so I think that's pretty cool. Sorry, just got a call. I don't know if I went out or not.
You're back on.
Okay, good. Sorry.
No, that's good.
So anyways, we just were kind of adapting through that. So I guess the main things that we're doing at the store is nobody's allowed in here. We got this really cool pickup and curbside delivery thing. So we have a tent set up outside. We got some bike racks out there. So you just kind of roll in. Sorry, I keep getting, I kind of just, that's what, dude, my phone is, I looked at my phone this morning, I have 146 missed text messages.
Wow.
That's
That's great that this is
it's unreal. People are like, oh, dude, when's my bike going to be done? So anyways, you can like roll your bike up, and we have like a Google Voice number that you just shoot a text to with all of your information. And, we're trying to do 24 or 48 hour service turnaround right now. So,
wow.
We've had to limit our hours, not because we're not busy. People are like, oh, you guys must not be busy. We actually had to limit our store hours because we are too busy to handle that amount of customers with less employees. So, and being fortunate enough to like have enough business to like make it through these times and not only like really thrive through these times, I've been able to pay my full-time staff who, if they're not comfortable coming to work, like nobody's missed a paycheck yet, which has been really cool.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's been great. And then they're doing stuff from home and like helping out like any way they can. And we're now trying to make some, I'm going to close basically this other half of our store and just kind of make like a closed off zone for them to work and try to make them feel as comfortable as they can at work.
Yeah.
So
that's important. You're taking care of your employees, making sure they still get paychecks, keeping them safe and healthy. And
yeah,
that's huge.
Well, we wouldn't be here without them. So it's, people are kind of like, well, dude, you don't have to pay them. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be here if they weren't here. So I'm just making the decision just to do that,
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
So
along those lines, there was a cool article that came out recently about some of the things you're doing to give back to the community. Tell me a little bit about, what you've been doing to help give back.
Yeah, I honestly would like to do more. But I think right now, like, if I assume some people know what Strava is. I know you obviously know what Strava is, but for those who don't, it's a really, really cool platform. It's like a social media platform for cycling, maps all of your rides in a GPS format, and there's leaderboards, and it shows who's the fastest, and you can get these King of the Mountains, which is the fastest time for these segments. So everybody's races got canceled, which is a total bummer. And a lot of people just love that competitive aspect or that social aspect of cycling. And we're missing that right now. It's a big void. So we were kind of thinking, like, how do we fill that so-called, race void or whatever you want to call it. But Strava was a great way to do it. So we made these different segments. I promise this has I'm going to get back to the question you asked, I promise. But so we're doing this, we're basically rolling out this race, okay, this social distancing series. And you got a week to do the segment. Whoever's the fastest is going to win for that week. Well, I'm trying to drive business to like our local restaurants downtown, because I'm just like, our downtown thrives on those restaurants. And the past, X amount of years, the past 10 or 15 years that we've been down here, people come to those restaurants and they come to our bike shop. So we've always kind of been like, piggyback onto the restaurants a little bit, because that's what drives a lot of traffic downtown is the trail and restaurants. And then we're just here to like service any need. So I felt like this was finally like a time where I could try to highlight a different restaurant each week. And I'm not asking them for anything. We're not asking for any type of payment like for this race series. We're just going to get a meal and a growler for each person that wins every week. And we're going to just give them a free meal like from the restaurant. So, and then hopefully we can just like support the restaurant throughout the week and just drive traffic to them, because they're killing it right now. Like they're doing such a good job, like adapting and using every resource that they can to like keep business open. And if we're not supporting that stuff like through these times, I mean, even if you just bought a $25 gift certificate and used it a month from now or 2 months from now, you know, that would be huge for them. But their carry out and delivery is so good anyways. And like all the restaurants down here are so friendly. So that's all we're trying to do is just drive traffic to a different restaurant every single week.
That's really cool. You're incorporating the cycling aspect where you got kind of a race format, but it's also the end goal is driving business back to a local restaurant, and doing a different one each week is kind of the format of what you're looking at.
Yeah. And it's cool because the restaurants are so like on board with each other. Like there's no, obviously, like, you know, in a capitalist environment, you know, it can be cutthroat, and you're like, no, I want the bigger lunch crowd, you know, but like everybody down here is so like eager to work with each other. And I don't think there's anywhere else in Lynchburg. I'm sure there is, but like the downtown community here is just so strong. Like everybody's like kind of in it together, you know?
Well, that's really cool. It sounds like you're doing some very creative ways to keep the business up and running during these difficult times. And it sounds like you're thriving, and you're also able to give back. So I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me, John, just to chat about your business. And I love supporting what you guys do. You know, it's cool to see you guys finding a way to make it through this. So thanks again for hopping on with me today.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, heck yeah. And I just want to say too, I know this is maybe you don't want me to say this, but dude, we went through the process, and TJ didn't pay me to say this, I promise. We went through the process of buying a home, and I called TJ, and it was the most seamless and insanely easy process I've ever been through getting a mortgage with him. So he's all about partnerships and you know, creating that like really hassle-free environment, and he just absolutely nails it. So we're all about partnerships here too. And if anybody has a need or has anything that they need, like just let us know, and we're happy to think creatively about stuff. And that's what you do too. You like get creative. So
thanks, John. I really appreciate that unpaid endorsement. Thanks, man.
Yep. All right, dude. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Sure thing.